The irrational fear of starting. When I was a kid, I was like 5 years old, I believe, 5 years old. I was jumping around on the sofa and my mom was feeding me porridge. But my mom told me, Yuan, stop jumping before you hit your head. She was about to say on the... But before she could finish her sentence, I slipped and I bashed my head, the side of my head, on the coffee table. Within 5 seconds, blood started to spew out. And that scared the shit out of my mom. Well, I'm okay now. I hope. There's some stitches over here in the corner of my head. I'll play a video of me doing a muscle up where you can very, very clearly see the scar. But after that point, I was very, very afraid to do anything. I was fear of starting anything. I was fearing of trying anything. Because I'm afraid I would fail. I'm afraid I'll get injured. And I'm afraid my parents will say, I told you so, don't try that. I'm afraid my parents will scold me for failing. You see, my brother on the other hand, he has no such fear. He would... Sometimes I'm doing parkour, I do extreme sports like parkour, calisthenics. Sometimes he would see like an interesting jump and he would just go for it. Without in the world, without a shit in the world he would just jump. And he would get it. I'd be like, ain't no way you just tried to do that. And I would not replicate. You may think, okay, that's a good thing, you're not going to injure yourself. You're not going to injure yourself doing stupid shit like jumping over a rooftop doing parkour. Yeah, maybe it's a good thing. But I don't think so. I think that if I don't try and I don't fail, I will never get exceptionally good at anything. Michael Phelps was afraid when he first stepped into the swimming pool. Thomas Edison was afraid. Nikola Tesla was afraid when he was first messing around with electricity. Marie Curie was afraid because she was a scientist, she was the first female scientist ever. And yet she was the first person to discover about radiation. Fear is natural, but it's also natural to combat that fear. But what is not natural is to succumb to that fear. Allow me to rephrase what I just said earlier on. It's normal to have fears. You have fears, I have fears. But it's not normal to succumb to the fears. But why do we still succumb to these fears? That's because we have a belief that the consequences of any action we take is much more disastrous than it actually is. Think about it. When you come back from an exam and you have a bad grade, you're going to be thinking, oh shit, I'm going to get my ass beat so hard. Let's take another example. If you are to fall from a 1 meter height drop, you're going to think, oh shit, if I land this way, I'm going to break my skull, I'm going to go to the hospital, my dad's going to scold me for wasting his money again. And then you end up not becoming the world champion for parkour. But if we take a look at the other outcome of the potential outcome of this thing, of the past two examples I just gave. For the first one, you failed an exam. Okay, it was a small test, 5% of your grade. It's not going to change your life. 5% of your grade is not going to change your life at all. And for the 1 meter drop height, bro, your body is more than capable of taking a 1 meter drop. If your body couldn't take a 1 meter drop, humans wouldn't be existing right now. We'd be long extinct already. So you see what I mean? Our view of the consequences is much worse than the consequence itself. And all of that is because of a belief. What's interesting is that a lot of this belief, a lot of our adult beliefs, our adult life beliefs, they all stem down to 80% of the beliefs that's been forged as a child. So 100% of the actions that we take and the values that we hold in our mind, 80% of that comes from our childhood, comes from the fires that's been forged by our childhood. Like, don't talk to strangers. In Singapore, it's okay to chop a seat with tissue paper. Don't pick up stuff from the ground. All these beliefs, they came from childhood. And you may think, okay, these are quite innocent beliefs. There can be beliefs that if you try and you fail, that's gonna beat you. If you don't do well in your studies, you will never be successful. If you don't have enough money, you cannot be happy. And these beliefs, they will stick with you for life. And one of them that we're talking about right now is the belief of trying and failing and never succeeding. And that's also why in 2020 you're always waiting for a New Year's resolution. And that's why you're also never going to accomplish any of your New Year's resolutions. Think about it. How many of all of the years that you have lived, maybe you're 18 years old, maybe you're 22 years old, maybe you're 50 years old, maybe you're 60 years old, how many of these New Year resolutions have you actually accomplished? None, right? I would say for me, it's none. Don't have to say it out loud, just admit it to yourself. How many have you accomplished? None, right? And that's fully because of your beliefs. Remember, like how I say 80% of your beliefs that's been forged as a child carry on to your adult life. Well, you still got a 20% to fix, bro. So cheer up. Fix that 20% of the beliefs. This is kind of actually a little bit of a sidetrack point. The main point was supposed to be, do not fear stepping into the next season. Do not fear starting. But really, the underlying problem of that fear is the belief that that the consequences are going to be much larger than it is. So, for this particular belief, think about it. What's gonna happen? You know, the buff, the jacked guy in the gym, he was afraid when he was skinny and he was fat. He was afraid to step in the gym. He was afraid people would judge him. Like how I'm afraid of posting videos. I've actually sat down and recorded like 30 hours worth of content. I had to delete all of them because I was afraid that people I knew would see them and think, this is not the Niguang I know. This is weird. And I was afraid that people were gonna judge me because of that. I was afraid that the friends I knew from secondary school or primary school are going to see my videos and going to be thinking, wait, this is not the Niguang I know. I'm afraid that my friends from poly are going to be thinking, wait, it's not Niguang I know. I'm afraid that they're going to be calling me out in school. But I succumbed to that fear. I deleted 30 hours worth of me talking to the camera. 30 hours of my life I spent on this, and I didn't even post it because of fear. And now I'm recording this video out in the open, literally out in the open, tell you that I'm going to try my very, very best to overcome that fear. And I'm posting this video. I don't think I'll be editing this a lot. I've told you my story. Tell me yours in the comments. Gotta fix your beliefs, bro. Cheers, bro. Happy 2025. Oomph.